One of the big topics over the last 2 or 3 years has been employer branding. Now, how do we introduce employer branding? How do we understand an organisation? How do we differentiate it? How do we establish messaging for that organisation? Not only as a global entity, but also how those messages adapted to for the local audiences in different regions around the world. One article I read recently was entitled "We're Global and I've Been to France." I thought it was a great article in terms of it quite clearly states and the experiences of that person that one size doesn't necessarily fit all. So again, it's looking at various organisations and how it should be reflected locally to appeal to those people. One of the other areas we find with a lot of the big sort of global employer brand projects that we have, there are a number of issues that constantly come up with those organisations. Are the senior stakeholders involved in that programme? Are marketing involved? Are branding involved? Are internal comms involved? Any other interested parties, right up to board directors? They need to understand how their organisation should be reflected globally, but also locally in their marketplaces. We also increasingly come across issues as far as how we actually build those messages. Do we need to do them in different languages? Is there local interpretation? Are there local ways of saying things that we may be unaware of? So part of a whole programme of research and understanding is finding out that information. For me personally, I find the easiest way of finding out that information is actually being there in that country, meeting with those people, because it's the only way that you really are going to understand what that culture is all about and also what that organisation is all about. I think when we look at brands and global brands and specifically employer branding and recruitment, all of it, for me personally, is incredibly interesting. It's also very, very complicated, sometimes far too complicated, but also it's incredibly challenging at the same time. And in the next year, I don't see that going anywhere. In fact, I see it probably increasing as more and more global brands emerge from different countries around the world, whether that's BRIC countries or Eastern European countries or elsewhere.